So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Let's go ahead and confirm my maximum capacity after 9 months, 100%. Granted, I don't have 200, 300 cycles, but 147 cycles, and I haven't even went down 1%. I think that's pretty good enough to talk about some of my tips here to go ahead and help you preserve it. Now, let's keep one thing in mind. This doesn't mean that it's not going to eventually go down. Every battery is going to chemically age, and eventually it's going to lose some percentage. But some of the things I did actually have helped this not to go down right away, and I think this can be very helpful, especially as Apple's increasing their prices. The Fold's going to come out. I think iPhone prices are on the rise, and so we want to keep these things lasting as long as possible and avoiding having to go ahead and upgrade right away as much as possible. And they've also been increasing the speed with 27, so they're also knowing that customers do want to keep their phones a bit longer as well. So let's start with the very first one, and that is I have avoided extreme temperatures quite regularly. I'm talking about very cold temperatures, very hot temperatures. A lot of people will leave their phone in the car, or it'll be in the dash with the GPS and the sun is beaming on it. Will get very hot, or they'll be out on a job and, you know, just a really hot day. And not everybody can avoid these things. But I've kept it in between anywhere from 35 degrees Fahrenheit to 80 degrees Fahrenheit for the majority of its lifespan. So I know it's not ideal for everyone. It's not even the tip that everyone could use. But if you can keep it at pretty much those temperatures, I think it helps the phone stay in its most optimal state. Now, the second one I did was I used their built-in features. So go to battery here, swipe back, and we'll scroll down to battery and go over here where it says charging. So we'll hit charging, and I turned on optimized battery charging immediately and clean energy charging. Both of these have been on. And also I do have a charge limit. Today I have it for 100, but it's usually around 85%. A lot of days though, if I need the full capacity, I will go to 100, but I do utilize their charge limit features here for sure. Now, another thing is I've only used quality chargers. Now, I say quality chargers because I don't use only Apple's USB-C charger, even though technically that's what you should do. And I do recommend using theirs if you can anytime possible. But I've used Anchor chargers and other chargers as well. So definitely, as long as they're certified and they're high quality, it hasn't really been an issue to charge it. I mean, USB-C is pretty universal. It's just if you can use the Apple stuff, use it as much as possible. Just using high quality chargers and cables is very important, not to overheat the phone or cause any battery degradation issues. That's definitely very important. Now, at number 4, I have avoided deep discharges. This is one thing I really pay attention to. I do not like deep discharging my phone, which means letting it get very low and then charging it all the way up. This is a habit amongst a lot of regular users of iPhone out there, including a lot of people I know do this regular. I'm like, how do you let it get that low? Now, I'm not saying that it's a problem. I'm not judging you personally. I'm just saying I personally like to keep this thing to avoid deep discharge, because letting it drop all the way down is just not good for its health, because then you come back, you charge it all the way up. You're continuously cycling this phone and you're going to drop that capacity. By the way, if you've gotten this far, go ahead and drop down below what your capacity is right now on your 17 Pro Max, or if you're watching this on another iPhone, maybe a different 17 or a different model, let us know your capacity down below in the comment section of this video. And so the next one is going to be auto brightness. I have pretty much used auto brightness for the duration of my use. Sometimes I turn it off because it's annoying me, but for the most part, it does affect the battery life, because if you are tweaking this, and let's be real, we're all human. Some days we're going to go ahead and just forget that we had that brightness cranked up, and we're just going to be rocking out throughout the day. And it's going to be very hard. High brightness is going to be very hard on the battery, and it does affect its long-term energy consumption. So using this thing at high brightness all the time will start to knock those percentages down regularly. Again, not everyone can avoid these situations. Sometimes they're in bright sunlight, they need this thing cranked up a lot. But at the same time, the more you can keep it on auto brightness, let the phone figure out what's the optimal brightness for its energy consumption, it's smart enough to know where to keep it. And for the most part, I don't really think about it, because it kind of does a really good job at keeping it at optimal brightness, I think, in most scenarios. So that's something that I have done over my time using this phone. Now, the sixth one is going to be background app refresh. I've talked about this in battery saving technique videos, but I believe that the background app refresh, having some of these turned off, does really help. Now, right now I have them turned on because I wanted to showcase in this video what to do. So you go ahead and you turn them off right there, or you can go ahead and use individual ones. Now, this one is probably not going to be that big of a deal. Like, it probably won't drain battery capacity very frequently, but if you have a lot of games and things updating in the background, I do think it could become a little bit of an issue. You can also change which is on based on Wi-Fi, cellular data, but go ahead, data, and go ahead and turn this thing to off. So that's how we're going to put it right there. That's what I have done throughout my experience with this. Now, I barely did another thing, and this one's not going to be a popular one amongst many. You notice that you can get a lot of cases and things with MagSafe charging and stuff like that, and you could charge via the MagSafe. However, when you do put these in cases with MagSafe and stuff of that sort, you do tend to have this issue where the phone can get a little bit warm on that wireless charger. Yes, it charges very slow, but for long-term capacity, I always go cable in only. So cable charging only. I'm not trying to say don't use it. I mean, you pay $1,000+ for these phones. Use the features. Use the luxurious wireless charging MagSafe option if you want to. But I'm saying if you're trying to be extra conserved battery, I personally believe just the straight USB-C cable to the nice charger is going to be good. Also, if you really want to go hard on this, you can actually lower the wattage of your charger, get like a lower watt charger, which is going to charge it a lot slower and might help it a little bit there as well. But the next one, and I don't really use that method because I like fast charging. Let's be real. I don't got time to be waiting for a 5-watt charger or a lower watt charger than what it already comes with, because they already don't charge faster than most of the competition. But the next one is I stopped using the iPhone 17 Pro Max anytime I felt it uncomfortably warm. Now, to be real, it hasn't really ever gotten too uncomfortably warm, but there are times when it's doing updates and stuff and I feel the heat in the phone. Thermals are amazing on this compared to previous iPhones, but when it's updating, I leave it alone. When it's getting too warm, I power it down. Sometimes I restart the phone to make sure that this device can cool itself down. So yeah, anytime that happened, I manage the heat, you know what I'm saying? And I know it seems like I'm nursing and babysitting this phone or whatever, but the fact of the matter is it's these habits are things that eventually when you start doing them, they just become second nature. You're not really actually using any conscious effort to really think about it too much. Now, the only thing I do also is I only update when I'm on Wi-Fi specifically. You can heat the phone up a lot when you're trying to do updates and things on 5G. I don't update any apps on 5G. I don't update really anything on 5G. I only use 5G for what it's used for. When I'm on the go, need some internet connection, need some streaming connection. That's just about it. But for most updates, I'm doing all Wi-Fi. 5G is like the backup to me. Not everybody, again, can do this. Not everybody works from home. Not everybody has a place where they're like always going to be on Wi-Fi. A lot of people are on the go, so they got to use 5G. But at the same time, if you have to rely on 5G for the most part, you might lose some capacity eventually, a little bit quicker than somebody using Wi-Fi mostly. So I would say the more you can get on Wi-Fi, probably the better for you. Now, this next one is one I think most people can do. They just have to make it fit into their lifestyle, and that is frequent top-ups. Now, if you're not at home a lot, you might be like, well, I can't top it up frequently. Yes, you can. You get a battery pack or you charge it in the car. If you don't have a car, battery pack. So if you're a cyclist, use the bus, use the train, battery pack. There you go. You can top it up wherever you go. You can also get battery charging cases, MagSafe battery charging cases. Again, MagSafe, not my favorite, but cable right into a battery pack. I like that method. But yeah, you can definitely, the more you frequently top it up, pretty good to go. That goes back to my talk about not letting it drain too far down. So that's important. And number 11 is I watch the brightness, even though it's on auto brightness. I kind of keep it here. I don't really like when it gets up. Sometimes I'll just bring it down anyway. And again, when it's on auto, it'll kind of tweak itself anyway. But I try to watch it to make sure it kind of stays around a 40 to 50% mark, unless triggered by outdoors sunlight, which the sensors in here will trigger to crank way up, which I do like because these things become pretty hard to see these displays when you're right in that direct sunlight. And number 12 is I didn't really game frequently. I play a few casual games, but heavy gaming uses the processor very strongly, GPUs very strongly. And again, this phone is built to handle it. Let's not get it twisted. This is no budget phone right here. This thing can handle the heat. It can handle whatever you throw at it. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you're not pushing it. You are pushing it to its capabilities. And so for me, I think it probably helped my capacity because I was not playing heavy gaming sessions on this, which heats the phone up a lot more than just basic usage. So that's something there. Now, number 13 is I was on Wi-Fi way more frequently than 5G. I think I discussed this a little bit earlier, but I just tried to stay on that as much as possible. We talked about the updates, but I was actually just like using the phone for Wi-Fi more than 5G as well. So that's one of them as well. So number 14 is I didn't use this phone heavily for 4K or extended video sessions. These things right here, if you prop this on a tripod, run it bright, 4K, you're using this for your professional work, and it's designed for that. Like, by all means, it's a tool. Get it and use it. I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm saying that one of the ways I kept my phone is by using strong with battery is by only using that stuff when I needed it and relying more on my mirrorless for this video right here. Of course, you're not going to carry on a point and shoot camera probably these days anymore. But if you are doing anything beyond just basic phone camera use, you probably already have a camera anyway. But if you don't, I just use this for travel and on the move. And I think that's how most people use it. And for a lot of people, I do think the pro features for the camera are a little bit gimmicky. But for the people that do use it, you know, it is very strong, but it does heat up the phone a lot more and uses a lot heavier. The battery drains very quickly by comparison if you're on 4K, a tripod, high brightness compared to other ways of using this phone. So again, I didn't use the camera like a professional would, even though this is a professional tool. But I do like the 4K. I did use that a lot. I just didn't use it like in a way that, you know, it's going to be on a tripod heating up the phone all the time. I didn't use it like that. I just used the pro features, you know, when I needed them. And I do kind of need them for like a lot of the content we do here. But at the same time, it was more B-roll and like extra stuff, whereas mostly I'm focusing on the main shots right here with the camera up top. So let's move on to my next one. I occasionally use the charge limit features as well in here. So if I go over here to settings, we talked about earlier how I use the optimized battery, but sometimes I use charge limit. We talked about how I keep it at 100 occasionally. And so the conclusion of this video is that it doesn't mean that like this is not going to drop eventually. I do have, 100% now. It could go down to 99 tomorrow, but I don't think it will for a while based on my habits. You can see that this phone's battery manufacture date was August 2025. So it's only a couple months out and this phone is a year old. So this device right here has been excellent. Very good thermals, very good battery experience on here. Very large battery, lasts a full day and then some. I've been raving about it. But in this video, you learned how I kept this thing at 100 throughout my 9 months with this phone. And it's been my primary since it launched. The Cosmic Orange still feels fresh even 9 months later. So I'm very happy to report these are tips on how I did it. So you can use some of them. Use the ones that work for you. If they're impractical and you're like, well, this dude is basically not even using the phone the way it was designed, then that's fine if that's your opinion. I still use it heavily when I need to, but I also manage it because I want the phone to last. We're going to keep it around the channel, do updates over the years, so it needs to last. So let me know your thoughts on your battery health, what you do. And if I miss some, don't be afraid to drop them down below in the comments. People read the comments, it helps them out. And I want that comment section to serve as an area for other people to read your tips as well, which can help them out inadvertently. So thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you like this video, I'm sure you'll probably like this one as well. I'll catch you on the next episode. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.